Hey, this is Rama from Creation Landscape Designs on the Free Landscapes blog. In this video, I wanted to talk to you about 9 things that you can do to garden sustainably. But before I do that, I make videos about drought-tolerant plants, California native plants, sustainability, and anything and everything in between. So if you'd like to get more of that content in your feed, then hit the red subscribe button. Now, I have a goal, and I need your help. My goal is to be able to hit 10,000 YouTube subscribers by the end of the 2024 calendar year and to have enough watch time hours so that I can monetize this YouTube channel and make every dollar of whatever I earn from this YouTube channel and take all of that and put it towards buying better quality equipment to make YouTube videos with. That being said, let's do this. The first thing that you can do to garden sustainably, and this is going to be a kind of a hot topic, kill your lawn. Or at the very least, reduce the amount of it. Here's the thing. Do you need an area of lawn to run around and play in? To sit in, entertain in? Chances are you probably don't. And chances are you're tired of watering it often, you're tired of mowing it, having to regularly fertilize it, so don't. So just take that area of lawn and put in drought tolerant, maybe California native plant material that the local wildlife can enjoy. The second thing that you can do to garden sustainably is reduce your use of chemicals. I'm going to use Roundup as an example. In my opinion, it's a toxic, potentially cancer-causing chemical. I never recommend the use of it. Some people might say, oh, well, it's water soluble. It is. And if you hire a contractor, well, the contractor, their crew will spray it, but then they're exposed to the chemical. I would avoid using any chemicals in your garden. If that means you have to do a little extra digging to dig up the grass, at least you're not exposing yourself to a potentially hypothetical cancer-causing chemical. Avoid using chemicals in your garden as much as humanly possible. The third thing that you can do to garden sustainably is reuse. Maybe there are things in your garden that can be reused. I'm currently working on a backyard design where the homeowner has a lot of flagstone that they were gifted by someone that's just piled up in the side yard, and we're going to be able to reuse that. There's enough to be able to reuse and do something with it, so we're going to use that to create a border in some planting areas, and it's going to work. It's there, it's free, so why not? Or maybe you have large boulders in your garden that were there when you bought the house. Reuse them to create some areas in your garden that have visual interest. Look at what you have in your garden that can be repurposed before you just go out and buy something new. The fourth thing that you can do to garden sustainably is conserve water by installing plants that don't need much water, by having an energy efficient irrigation system that doesn't use much water. Conserving water will be beneficial because then you'll be spending less on your water bill. The fifth thing that you can do to garden sustainably is consider planting natives. Now, I'm all for having a completely native garden, but if that's not your jam, that's fine. But including even a few varieties of native plants in your garden will be beneficial because also the local birds and butterflies prefer those native plants. And there's lots of different varieties of native plants that perform better, look better, and are far more sustainable than their non-native counterparts. The sixth thing that you can do to garden sustainably is create a garden for the local wildlife. I've said this in many videos and I will say it again. Having plants that are flowering and plants in general that the local wildlife enjoy is beneficial because then they are going to come have a party at your house. Imagine you're in the living room, you're looking outside the window and you're seeing the hummingbirds drinking from your autumn sage plant or whatever plant you have in the garden. That's meditative, that's fun to look at. That's all kinds of videos and pictures you can take and share with your friends. Look, oh my God, look, this hummingbird came and had a feast in my garden. The seventh thing that you can do to garden sustainably is add mulch to your garden. Now, there's different types of mulch. There's wood chips. There's rocks of varying shapes, sizes, and colors. You can use decomposed granite. But regardless, when you add mulch to your garden, it first of all visually creates a finished, more decorative look. Now, typically, wood chips is going to be your least expensive option. However, that being said, with wood chips, what happens is they decompose, which is great because it adds nutrients to the soil, but because they decompose, every couple of years you have to replenish it. But regardless, whether you use actual wood chips as mulch in your garden or decomposed granite or whatever you use, consider having some type of mulch to finish the garden. The eighth thing that you can do to garden sustainably is to compost. Think about this. Let's say, for example, you've got all kinds of food scraps. Do you want to send them to the landfill, or can you compost them? Whether that's worm composting, bokashi style composting, or any other type of composting. Now, if you're going to tell me, look, I live in a condo, I don't have space to compost, same. So then in that case, what I would recommend is there's an app called Share Waste. Through this app, you can find people in your area that have compost, that do compost, that are more than happy to take your scraps. I live in Tustin. There's a lady in the city of Irvine that I connected with through this app. And every 2 weeks, she happily takes my compostables, feeds it to the worms, and it works out. Now, if you have room to compost, I highly suggest you consider it. But if you don't, consider the Share Waste app. The ninth thing that you can do to garden sustainably is leave the leaves. Hear me out. So if you've got a deciduous tree, or maybe your neighbor has one, and the leaves fall in your yard, well, guess what? Free compost, free mulch. Let them decompose in your garden. You don't have to rake them and toss them, and you can just leave them be. Or maybe you pile them up in one area of your garden to decompose. Either way, just leave them be. They're harmless.